I always wanted a dog, but my parents never let me. They kept saying I had to grow up to take care of it. I grew up. Now I'm 12 years old guy. I went up them and reminded that I was already an adult, that it was the proper time for me to get a dog. But my parents refused anyway. Dad said the dog will chew on all the furniture that we have, which is an antique from the late 19th century, perhaps from the master Andrea Brustolone. My mom said that she is allergic to wool, so I was left without a dog again. With despair in my soul, I started to feel myself very outraged. Oh, how dare you to treat me in that manner? I have waited so many years for this moment, when I will have my own dog, with whom I will go to school and brag to my classmates that I have my little friend, or when I will throw the ball, he will bring it. I got sad and walked away wherever my eyes led me. I was wandering around the town, trying to soothe my soul, but it wouldn't stop me and slowly turned into a riot. A day later, my parents started texting me. I was silent. One day later, they called me. I didn't respond. I wanted them to get nervous. I wanted them to think about their behavior. I thought they need to learn how to keep their promises. And it worked out. When I came home with a new friend, they didn't say anything and went to their rooms. My friend was, quite unusual. He was a homeless guy. I put him in the hall watching TV. I went to my parents' room. My grandma, who got poor eyesight, was sitting in the hall trying to keep up a conversation with the guest. She was asking about the weather, about new works of writers, about new performance in the opera. But my new friend wasn't interested in any of the things. He was most likely interested in the food that he would be given in this house. By the way, he still hasn't told me his name and nothing about himself. All he did was sneezing really loud and he always got the sound of yash. Anyway, my new friend was terribly hungry and carried a little Cooper bell that kept ringing. I could tell by the sound where he was at the moment. Actually, everyone in the house realized he went to the fridge. While I was working things out with my parents, Yasha was already taking the food from the fridge. He started out with some high-end Chardonnay wine, eating a Roquefort cheese, then he moved on to cakes. That's what got my mom down with the migraines right away. But the dad, the model of even-tempered person, joined grandma in the hall. I got tired of all this walking around town and decided to take a nap. And Yasha went to do his personal hygiene. But my nap didn't last long. I woke up with the scream of my sister. She screams like that, only when she sees a mouth or new clothes. When I went out into the hall, I noticed a weird thing on the Yasha clothes. He was wearing sister's pink tights instead of cotton pants, which was hanging in the bathroom. Mom's favorite towel with lilies was wrapped around his head, and we had a real flood and short circuit in the bathroom at the same time. Yasha decided to take a shower and shave, but apparently something went wrong. Dad was outraged by the remnants of the Yasha's beard on his razor. He said to the Yasha, "Sir, you need to explain this," showing the razor. But when Yasha saw the officer's cap hanging on the carpet, he immediately rushed to try it on. But it was too much. The late grandfather's World War I cavalry hat was a shrine for our grandmother. Grandmother stood up, came to Yasha, and decided to hold an educational activity. She began to beat him with the cane, chasing around the hall. Yasha was running away and turned the flowers over, tore the curtains, and broke the vase. She explained that a person should not be so careless about things of absolute value, both in historical and personal terms. And apparently, this position of grandmother led Yasha to a certain idea, that he decided to think about it at leisure and for some reason hastily decided to leave. Now I'm left without a new friend. We spent 2 whole days cleaning up the house. We fixed, washed, aerated, dried everything. And 2 days later, we went back to ordinary daily routine. It even got a little boring. In fact, we got too used to it. Grandma was watching the TV, Dad was reading the newspaper, and my sister and mom were chatting and talking on the phone. Suddenly, there was a trembling sound and bell of ringing. Grandma looked back at the door, Dad stopped reading and listened. My sister goggled her eyes out. It also got my attention, and when the sounds repeated, I even heard some attempt to open the door. I ran over there. When I opened the door, I saw, for God's sake, there was a cute shaggy puppy standing in front of me. It had a bell of yashi hanging around his neck. The whole family gathered in the living room, and everyone was trying to pet my puppy. I had never seen so much joy and warmth in their eyes. That's the story that happened to me. But where did the puppy come from? We all ask ourselves that question. Where do you think he came from?